2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, the 23rd of November, and it's National Espresso Day. And a big happy birthday to Zoe Ball, Sue Nichols, Miley Cyrus, and Leah Marie Johnson. Rishi Sunak has been Prime Minister now for 2/3 of a Liz Truss, as he marks his first month in office at the end of the week. But Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer's not at all impressed by the new boy. He was speaking at the Confederation of British Industry's annual conference and used his keynote speech to highlight the Tory shortcomings.
I went on the Gov UK website in search of the government's industrial strategy. This is what I found. Scratched across the top is one word, I kid you not. Archived.
This all comes hot off the heels of the CBI chief saying the UK needs immigration to fill the gaps in the labour market and solve worker shortages. Tony Danker called on politicians to be practical about immigration at the Business Group's conference in Birmingham, and he'd be forgiven for thinking Sir Keir would be all behind this kind of rhetoric. So many were left surprised by the Labour leader's tough stance.
Our common goal must be to help the British economy off its immigration dependency. Migration is part of our national story. But let me tell you, the days when low pay and cheap labour are part of the British way on growth must end.
Shadow Business Secretary Jonathan Reynolds was on hand to explain more about Labour's plan to fill vacancies in the job market.
Immigration to the UK stands at over 200,000 people a year. We should be proud of people wanting to come to this country, but it cannot be the sole means by which we meet those vacancies.
With Britain receiving its first blackout warning from the national grid and many facing a cold and costly winter, you'd think that maybe the energy companies would go easy on us. But no such luck. Turns out energy firms are actually failing vulnerable customers. That's according to the sector's watchdog Ofgem, who's named 5 suppliers that have severe weaknesses in helping them. So if you're with Good Energy, Outfox, So Energy, True Energy and Utilita, it's not great news. Ofgem boss Jonathan Brearley shed some light on exactly what that means.
Basically, it's pot luck. You might get a good advisor that might help you, but you may also get someone who simply doesn't do the things that are needed.
But it's not all bad news. Ofgem's Director of Retail, Neil Lawrence, explains what they can do to tackle this as he lays down the law.
Now, ultimately, if suppliers fail to take the steps that we have agreed in those action plans, we've got further sanctions, including fines, further enforcement action, and ultimately we can take licences away.
Ukraine's President Zelensky's urged Russia's President Putin to withdraw troops from the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant immediately. It comes after Russia and Ukraine both continue to accuse each other of carrying out explosions at the site of Europe's biggest nuclear power plant. The plant, which is currently under Russian occupation, has been attacked repeatedly throughout the war.
The demilitarization of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is extremely important. Russia must withdraw all its militants and stop shelling the station.
Meanwhile, Tobias Elwood fears Russian pipeline sabotage could affect the energy supplies here in the UK too. The chair of the Defence Select Committee said he wouldn't put it past Vladimir Putin.
It's attacked its own cables and power supplies, Nord Stream 1. I could easily see an attack take place in one of the connectors coming to Britain to actually effectively turn our lights off as well.
In the United States, the Colorado Springs LGBTQ nightclub owner has praised the man who helped stop the shootings. 5 people were killed and 17 others injured there in a mass shooting over the weekend. Nick Grzeska, the co-owner of Club Q, said a big thank you was due to Richard Fierro for saving countless lives. He's a 15-year military veteran who was out for a quiet night with his family when a man dressed in body armour burst into the venue and opened fire.
I grabbed him by the back of his little cheap-ass armor thing, and I pulled him down. And then I started wailing on this dude. And I'm on top of him. I'm a big dude, man, and this guy was bigger. And I told the kid in front of me, kick him in his head, keep kicking him in his head. One of the performers walked by, or was running by, and I told her, kick this guy. And she took her high heel and stuffed it in his face.
Still to come on the Smart 7, a historic World Cup shock result and the highest grossing movie of all time has competition from its sequel, right after this. Welcome back.
3,
Day 3 of World Cup 2022 saw more rows, this time over stadium capacity, as questions were raised about the attendance at games. It also saw 4 games with 2 goalless draws involving Mexico, Poland, Denmark and Tunisia, and France thumping Australia 4-1. The biggest shock of the tournament so far, and possibly ever, was the result of the game between Argentina and Saudi Arabia. The Saudis are the second lowest ranked team in the World Cup, but they managed to pull off a shock 2-1 win to embarrass pre-tournament favourites Argentina and football legend Lionel Messi. But former player Pablo Zabaleta is still confident that Argentina can bounce back and win the World Cup.
There were a lot of expectation about Argentina, Messi last World Cup and all that. And that's why I hate when something happens like that. When everyone say, no, Argentina favourite and all that. No, just, because that's the World Cup and you cannot really underestimate any team.
Jay Leno's been discharged from hospital after suffering severe burns following a horrifying accident. The ex-Tonight Show host endured the third-degree burns on his face and hands after an explosion in his garage earlier this month. Now his longtime comedian pal Tim Allen popped up with Jimmy Fallon to give an update on his buddy's condition.
What do you do? He's going to the hospital. What am I going to do? All I can do is leave a message. He calls back 5 minutes later. Hey, Tim, what's going on? Oh, sorry, Jay, I heard you were in a bad accident. Yeah, burned all over. Third-degree burns on my hands and my face, everything. I go, what are you doing right now? I'm holding the phone. It's really painful.
The final trailer's just dropped for the long-awaited Avatar sequel, and it's got all the high-definition, blue, creaturey, dazzling underwater scenes you'd presumably been waiting 13 years for. Avatar Way of the Water, which is set to be about 16 hours long, has a lot to live up to, as its older sister was the highest-earning film of all time. But if the trailer's anything to go by, Part 2 has all the makings of another blockbuster hit. Just as well, really, because director James Cameron said it must become the 3rd or 4th highest-grossing film ever to be profitable.
Treat them as our brothers and sisters. Teach them our ways. Keep up, Forrest, boy! If you want to live here, you have to ride.
Let's do it.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.